All systems go. Cleared for takeoff.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the SHIPIT Nation MLB Witching Hour. We're here breaking down big time 13-game MLB slate. A lot of really warm, solid hitting environments. We'll get to it all here throughout the show. Tons of offenses to attack, tons of pitchers that are potentially in play here tonight. We will break it all down like we always do. Joined by my guy. They call him Big Nades in the street. What's going on, Nades?
What's going on, Mr. Hoop? It's a good Friday here to be. Got a nice little workout in this morning. Didn't hit the golf course today, which is out of the usual. Typically, I'm out there on the links hacking it up. But ready to dive in here. It was a very, very profitable MLB slate last night. We made some, or yesterday, I should say, overall. The day before as well, we made some really good calls. Had a lot of membership over here, and looking to run it back tonight. We got a 13-game slate. Ownership looks to be spread out pretty more than usual, I should say, on these big slates. It typically tends to spread out, but a lot of times at pitcher, you still get one or two guys that are pretty condensed ownership. Doesn't seem to be the case tonight, so it should be a fun little slate here. And looking to bring the weekend shenanigans on with some shippers here tonight. Yeah,
I mean, anytime on these bigger slates, I mean, the only time you really see the high ownership would be like a Coors game with a huge total, 12 and a half or something like that. Anytime you get these massive slates, have a lot of teams with similar team totals, it's going to get spread out. So it makes it easy if you like an offense to get overweight on that specific offense, or even like at pitcher and stuff. Not much. I mean, you will see more on these bigger slates where the pitchers have consolidated ownership. The offenses all typically kind of get spread out. One thing I did want to touch on, though, before we get started, obviously, go to shipitnation.com, join us. $59 for the month, $5.99 for the annual package, gets you access to everything. We will be adding on more along the way. We have these tools, and right now it's obviously consolidated around MLB. It's the main thing in town right now. These tools are phenomenal. Pitcher tools, hitter tools, projections, everything you can imagine. So we have the ranking system for pitchers, hitters, absolutely dominant the pitching side these last this last week. I mean, we nailed Tommy Henry 2 nights ago out of nowhere. No one was playing him. Dude just kind of goes off. He was the guy that you needed to be on the winner. So we have pitcher rankings, hitter rankings, projections, all the advanced data, advanced stats. If you're someone that likes digging into all that stuff, not for me, but it is for others out there, have all that at a fraction of the price compared to the competitors. Some of these sites, what they charge for their tools and projections, through the roof just for one sport. We offer it for all our sports. One low price gets you absolutely everything. And then we also have the picks and plays as well. We have a core report. We have core plays. We have cash plays. Have you covered on all bases here. But the tools that we're offering at SHIPIT Nation, fraction of the price compared to the competitors. A lot of guys, a lot of sites, it's only one or the other. They'll give you the projections and tools, or they'll give you the picks and plays. We got the best of both worlds over here, and it's way cheaper than anyone else in the industry. $59, $599 annually. Come on over with us, and let's #ShipIt. That's what the cool kids say. Any initial thoughts here on the slate? Just a quick overview. I mean, we got a lot of games. We want to get through all of them. So just a quick overview of the slate, and then we can dive in and talk some pitching.
Yeah, no, you kind of nailed it. I mean, what we strive to do over here on SHIPIT Nation is not just spoon feed you cores, and if our cores don't hit, you're kind of screwed, right? That's obviously, we do still provide a core report. Myself, Hoop, and our guy Keith, boomersdaddy over here, does provide a FanDuel core as well every single slate, and that's great. We give you 6 core pieces, right? Kind of have to fill out your 4 other spots on your roster using tools, using projections, using everything that we do offer over here. But what we want is to give you guys self-service tools that are very, very good, very well put together, and give you the opportunity to build competitive lineups. And that's ultimately what we're here for. We don't have 15 different people on our staff providing cores. We post our core every night, me and Hoop, and then we use the same tools that we offer for our subscribers to build our teams. And plenty of members have already shipped 5 figures this week. And through the start of the baseball, one $100,000 winner, I believe, as well. And using our projections, using our tools. So $59 a month is an absolute steal for that price. Not to mention the founding family benefits that you will get that will be going away here in about a week and a half, 2 weeks. And that's minimum another $6,000 free roll that we're going to run for those members in particular, along with plenty other things. And I do want to bring it up to subscribers. Once we get to 1,000 subscribers here, obviously we're building a brand new YouTube channel up here. Once we get to 1,000 subscribers, we're going to be doing giveaways. So we're at 484. Let's see if we can get to 500 by the end of this show. Share it out, share it with your friends, your grandmas, your sisters, your brothers, anyone you want that needs some winners. But overall, should be a good slate here, Hoop, and ready to break it down.
I'll take it a step further. Go to your neighbors, start knocking on some doors, tell them to subscribe to the channel. You tell them you want to get to that 1,000 subscription number so you can be part of the giveaway now. But yeah, definitely hit the like on these videos. We appreciate that. And then also subscribe. We're trying to grow this channel as much as we can. The bigger we get, the more free videos we'll post and free content. So we definitely appreciate the support so far. Let's keep the momentum going. Let's keep the momentum going into this slate. Big slate, obviously, a lot of pitching options. We're going to break it up into, let's go ahead and go 8K and above. It looks like Chris Bassett, I guess Savelli's on there too. So Savelli all the way up to Ohtani. A lot of big dogs at the top. A lot of guys to choose from. How are you sorting out this upper range on DraftKings?
Yeah, I'm going to start with a guy that I'm seeing. Again, I talk chalk a little bit, but it's all relative to the slate. There's not a ton of super chalk. I'm seeing Framber and Clayton Kershaw as the chalk pitchers, if you will, but they're all both projected to be under 30% owned. So really, it doesn't really matter to me. Chalk, really, at the pitcher position, I'm looking at 40 to 50% owned and stuff like that. So I'll start with Kershaw, number one. I'm out on Kershaw here against the Yankees. I get why people are going to him. I'm just not going to do it. Again, I play 2 to 3 teams. I like these other guys more, and these Yankees, I'm not thrilled to go against these Yankees with a pitcher. I know Kershaw's been good, 29.4% strikeout rate, pretty low barrel rate. Expected ERA numbers look good. You can go there, but he is getting a pretty decent amount of ownership compared to a lot of these other guys in this range. So I'm out on Kershaw there at the bottom at 9K. Zach Wheeler, I do have interest in Zach Wheeler here. I know these Nationals are pretty pesky, but that price tag there on Wheeler, 9,200, is very fair. The only call out is it is a good hitting environment here tonight in this ballpark. So maybe a little bit scared there, but Wheeler tends to limit hard contact, 4.5% barrel rate so far on the year, 28% K rate. Going to throw 6 or 7 innings, maybe more if he's cruising. Expected ERA numbers under 4. Overall, I think Wheeler checks all the boxes here for me. The only issue is the Nationals only strike out at about a 22% clip at home to right-handed pitching. So maybe some of the upside is capped there, but this Nationals team, expected WOBA numbers under 300. Expected ISO sitting right around 140. So overall, I'm not too scared there. So I do like Wheeler. I also like Castillo here against Texas. I like targeting the Texas team right now. I mean, especially they got Sandy Leon down there batting 9th. Jonah Heim's not in the lineup tonight, Sandy Leon, and that should be a free 2 strikeouts at least there with him for Castillo. And Castillo's been great. The only upside or downside is he does leave his pitcher's park out in Seattle to go to Texas. Texas, I believe, will have the roof closed tonight, so that does help him a little bit. But I still have some interest. 30% K rate. He does get hit around a little bit in terms of his barrel rate. He's got about a 10% barrel rate on the slate so far. And overall, I mean, this Rangers team, I think you can attack them here tonight. Implied run total sitting right around 4. And I'm not too scared. So I do like Castillo there at 9,400. But my favorite guy out of Wheeler, Castillo, and Logan Webb is actually going to be Logan Webb here. Logan Webb already made my core report. I'll give you a little sneak peek over on SHIPITNation.com. I'm just not afraid of these Orioles, especially on the road. Heading into San Fran to take on the Giants, late night hammer game. Obviously, that doesn't matter a ton in MLB, but it's a nice little thing, right? Hoop, when you sit there, you got PMR sitting in the chamber, and you're out having a couple beers by the campfire up here and enjoying the nice weather, and you pull up the DraftKings app, and hey, you got some PMR, your hitters went off early, and you're kind of just sitting back and hoping to get all the way home by the end of the slate. So I do like Logan Webb a lot here. This Orioles team on the road is not the same as they are at home. Expected ISO of 140, expected WOBA sitting at 310, about 23% K rate. So I think Logan Webb can get it done. He's been great this year, 27% K rate, average innings pitched of 6.5, so 6 or 7 innings out of Logan Webb here. Expected ERA sitting right around 3. So I do like Logan Webb quite a bit. The guy I'm actually going to be out on up here is going to be kind of shocking because I know you're on the other side, Hoop, which is pretty usual. Obviously, I'm a more contrarian GPP player, and obviously we both do well in our own stakes. But I'm going to fade Framber here against the Angels. I think Framber, he does have clearly upside. Obviously, that's why he's the chalk SP on the slate, especially with the $600 savings you get off of Ohtani. But I'm just looking at this Angels lineup. They're playing good baseball right now, and their expected lineup only has a K rate of 20%. I just don't think he has the K upside in this matchup against the Angels. Obviously, when you're pitching to a guy like Mike Trout and Ohtani too, they're always a threat to take you deep. He's a ground ball pitcher, so I think he can navigate through this lineup overall and post a decent score. I just don't think he can post a score considering the ownership that is going to be needed as well on the slate. So I'm going to be out on Framber, and I'm just going to go to the other side here in Ohtani. Ohtani, I'm seeing projected under 15% ownership right now against Houston, which I think is criminal. Houston has not been the greatest team by any means this lineup. Corey Julks is making the lineup batting 8th. He's got a strikeout rate of 40%, and that's not just a couple sample size. That's 51 plate appearances against right-handed pitching at home. Overall, that gave me a boost to Ohtani. He's also ranked their number 1 pitcher over here on SHIPIT Nation Pitcher Tools, which if you have seen the tweets, they've been doing well and made me a lot of money. So I'm going right back to the well here. I'm just going to take Ohtani, and looking at these pitcher rankings too, Framber's actually kind of down the list a little bit here too. So that helped me kind of pinpoint, just go to the other side and go to Ohtani. So for me in this range, it's Ohtani number 1, Logan Webb number 2, Wheeler is going to be 3 for me, and then Castillo would be 4. I'm out on the rest of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty loaded up here. There's a lot of options. Kind of hard to parse through because these guys have, a lot of upside in this range. And this is a range for me personally that I kind of want to live in. Whether I'm making a cash team, whether I'm doing 3 max, 20 teams, 150, I want as many of these upper tier guys, which I'll get to the specifics of which ones I like the best, more so than anything else. So, sometimes we talk about it like, hey, what are we going to need at pitcher to get by? We need these guys to get like 15 or to 18. So we'll take like 35 total points. Tonight, I think you need a big boy score at pitcher. So I'm going to be targeting a lot of these guys up top. My favorite is Ohtani, 10-7. He's the most expensive. Easy to get to him, though. I mean, it's a 13-game slate. Any stack you're going to play tonight, you're going to be able to find some cheap bets. Phillies, for example. Going to be popular, no doubt about it. But you can go to the bottom and play, Brandon Marsh, Cody Clemens. There's guys down there to make it all work. So at pitcher, I'm focusing on the top tier. Ohtani, Valdez, Webb, Castillo, Wheeler. I'm not going to make a hard stance on any of those guys. I am going to make my stance. I'm going to make my move at the bottom where I'm going to be fading almost everyone. Ohtani, Valdez, Webb, Castillo. I really like Wheeler down there at 9-2 as well. Good matchup there against the Nationals. Pretty solid favorite on the road. Solid K prop, 5.5. Castillo, big time upside, 9.4K matchup against Texas. I love your call on Logan Webb. I think he has the chance to go a little overlooked here. People are going to like to go to Framber and Ohtani above. They could also save some money and go down to Castillo and Wheeler. I think Webb has a chance to go a little overlooked. I definitely want to be on him. But, yeah, I will be on Framber as well at the 10-1 price tag. There's just too much upside there. I mean, he's had a couple 40 fantasy point games. Obviously, one against Oakland. The other one was against this Angels team back in May. So I'm in on these 5 at the top, and then everything else in this range I'll be fading, and then honestly in the lower tier as well, which we'll get to now. So just give me your thoughts here on 7.9K and below. Any cheap options stand out to you?
Yeah, looking at this range, personally, I'm probably out on everyone in this range. It's a spend up night for me at pitcher. You brought it up here, and I'm not really seeing any of these guys check out. I mean, Bassett might get a little bit of ownership. I'm seeing Glass now right around 10, 11% ownership. I can't do it in Fenway Park. I'm just not going to throw pitchers. It's good hitting weather in Boston, good hitters park. I'm out on those guys. I actually have some slight interest a little bit down the board if I'm going to punt. So I'm out on this whole mid-tier here. I just can't make a case to play any of these guys. Could they get there? Yeah, absolutely. It's baseball. It's a 13-game slate. You can play who you want. But overall, I'm just going to cut this whole range, and we can move on.
Yeah, I mean, the only guy down here that I have interest in, I think is, where's he at? We talked about Clevenger. We talked about Clevenger, 6.6K, decent favorite at home. He's actually pitched pretty well recently in terms of just like fantasy points. He's been over 15 in 3 out of his last 4. I think that's honestly like the only guy that I'm going to like in this cheaper range. I just want to spend up. I think you're going to need big scores from your pitchers today, and I just don't see anyone really in this lower tier that has a chance to get there. So maybe some Clevenger, but I'm going to make my stand at the top. I'm going to be playing. I mean, most of my lineups are going to have 2 of those, top end big dogs tonight. Any final thoughts at pitcher?
Yeah, I was stopping in kind of that 7K range.
Oh yeah. Keep going all the way down and talk about the rest. Yeah.
So I do have 2 guys that I'm going to bring up in this lower range. You hit on one, Clevenger. He's got the best opposing lineup matchup. Obviously, it's the Tigers on the slate, and we've seen this. We've seen it with Tommy Henry. We've seen it with Mikolas. We've seen it with these other pitchers that aren't significant strikeout pitchers. But when you put them in a lineup where the team, like the Tigers on the road this year, are striking out at a 28% clip, 29% clip, right? I think he can get it done. And at 6,600, I mean, he's still got a 20% K rate on the year, and he's facing your Tigers hoop on the road, which are you scared of guys like Eric Haas, Tyler Nevin, Zach Shorts, Marcisniak, like any of these guys down here, Nick Matone? I mean, they all have over a 25% strikeout rate. I'm not afraid of them. And 6,600, if you need it, I mean, you can play him with one of these top guys and afford any of these bats that you want. I mean, the Braves are probably going to go under owned here against Merrill Kelly and I mean, the Braves smashed the ball on the road. I get that it's Merrill Kelly, but you have salary to play those guys with a secondary stack and stuff like that. So what he allows you to do with your roster, I think definitely makes some sense there. The other guy that's slightly interesting, making me swallow my tongue a little bit here, is Josiah Gray. And this is a play here that is kind of a double leverage situation. But I'm looking at our SP ranks. He's ranking out pretty good. He's top 5 right now on our SP rankings. Phillies are going to be the chalkiest team by far in terms of stack on this slate. Everyone is starting their lineups with the Phillies, starting their second lineup with the Phillies, their third lineup with the Phillies. But this lineup that the Phillies rolled out has a 27% strikeout rate against right-handed pitching on the road. Josiah Gray has a 20% K rate. He's got a barrel rate under 7%. I get that he can get wild and he has walks, but his expected ERA numbers are basically even with Framber Valdez on this slate, and everybody wants to play Framber. I don't know if this is more of a case like Tambo and I talked about earlier this week that, hey, maybe you just skip the Phillies in terms of a stack, but I do have some slight interest. I mean, the dude is 6,900. Who's to say that he can't go out there and navigate through this lineup? I mean, after Schwarber, Stott, and Harper at the top, I mean, Castellanos, 30% K rate. Trey Turner, 26% K rate. Real Muto, 29% K rate. Marsh, Clemens, 34 and a 31% strikeout rate. And then Drew Ellis down at the bottom has one at bat, and he didn't get a hit. So this lineup for the Phillies is not very good, and everybody and their brother wants to play these guys. I'm probably going to be off the Phillies here, and I don't think Josiah Gray is the worst play in the world.
Yeah, I mean, it does look like the Phillies will end up getting the most ownership in terms of, full stacks in some of their individual bats. Like Kyle Schwarber will probably be one of the more popular hitters on the slate. So, again, we talk about it a lot on the show. You create a double leverage situation where a lot of people are going to be on this offense. You have the opposing pitcher. If he shuts them down, you're passing all those Philly stack teams. Makes sense. You know me, though. I'm a donkey and will not be heading in that direction. I obviously like the Phillies here, which we'll talk about when we get to the offenses. But yeah, I mean, it's a big slate. Obviously, a lot of pitching options. I mean, my overall sentiment is I'm just focusing on that top tier. I want as many of those big dogs as possible. I think you're going to need probably 50 from your pitchers today, and I just don't see how some of these guys in the low range can get me there. So don't love a lot of guys in the bottom. I'm going to be focused on that top tier. And again, we're going to have cheap bats to make it all work. So let's go ahead and we'll hop into the offenses, kind of go game by game, talk some stacks, talk some one-offs. Before we do so, just a reminder, please do us that favor. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe. We're trying to get our subscriber numbers up. Big Nades requested 500. We're at 494. So only 6 more subscribers, and we'll hit that 500 number on our way up to 1,000 and continuing on. Hop on our rocket ship and continue on with us. So yeah, hit the like and subscribe. $59 for a membership, monthly membership at SHIPIT Nation, $5.99 for the annual. Come on over, check it out. We have all the tools that you need to be successful at DFS. And, we have pitcher rankings, hitter rankings, projections, core plays, cash plays, everything you can imagine over there for one cheap, low rate. Kind of brings the best of all worlds together. A lot of sites focus on one or the other, the tools or the picks and the plays. We have it all over there. So come check us out. Let's get into some offenses. First game on the slate, we have the Cardinals and the Pirates. Big total here, 9.5. Cardinals are kind of projected to score right around 5. The Pirates right around 4.5. Any interest for you here offensively?
Yeah, I think you can go to both sides of this game. Cardinals obviously guaranteed 9th inning at bats. I'm looking at the weather, and it's going to be about 87 degrees at first pitch and stay above 75 the entire game with slight wind blowing out to right center and right field. So overall, I do think, this is a great game to kick it off in terms of potential offense. I'm not seeing a ton of ownership. Let me just look again. Okay, so yeah, I'm not seeing a ton of ownership overall going to this game, and obviously that's pretty usual, right, with a big slate. Pittsburgh will be significantly under-owned, and we've talked about Flaherty kind of just skating by, right, and kind of just hanging on and getting through these starts. I think a blow-up game's coming from Flaherty here, and it could be a spot tonight where some of these Pirates snap a little bit. They have pretty good numbers. Strikeout rate as a team under 20%. Pretty good WOBA numbers, not the greatest power numbers, but they got some good power bats in the lineup. Brian Hayes, Marcano leading off there at 2,100 at shortstop. Leading off, good hitting weather, very low strikeout rate that he has against right-handed pitching. Flaherty obviously has walk issues as well. So I do think these Pirates make quite a bit of sense here too. I like both sides of this game. For the Cardinals, it would be your standard guys for me, Goldschmidt, Nolan Gorman, Paul DeJong down there in the 7 hole, I think makes some sense. Jordan Walker, the rookie's is back in the lineup. Obviously, he's a big fly, big home run guy. 3,300 there in the outfield. So I do think these Cardinals make some sense, but I actually like these Pirates slightly more. Nobody's going to play them, and I already talked on Flaherty here. He's got a approaching 9% barrel rate as well. He walks some guys, and you start walking guys, you got to come back with fastballs, good hitting conditions. I think these Pirates can do it. Jack Suwinski, McCutchen, Brian Reynolds is ranked pretty highly on our hitter rankings over here as well. So overall, I do think you can go here, and I prefer the Pirates side. I think you can even 5-man them. I don't know if I personally get to 5-man because I like some of these other teams that we're going to touch on, but for a mini stack for sure, I think make a lot of sense.
Yeah, the one thing that definitely sticks out to me right out of the gate is the 9.5 total. And it's a total that we typically don't see in this ballpark that is a pitcher-friendly environment, but it's up to 9.5. I'm assuming most of that has to do with the weather, 90 degrees today. I'm assuming it's pretty humid there, warm temperatures kind of all around the country. But yeah, 90 degrees. So I'm interested, agree with you. They'll probably more like 3-mans opposed to 5-mans. Marcano, though, 2.1K leading off shortstop, definitely in play as a one-off. Cash games as well. And then on the other side, Brendan Donovan leading off is cheap as well, only 2.9K. So have some options here. If I were to stack the Cardinals, it would definitely have to feature Paul Goldschmidt. On the Pirate side, it would be a little more flexible. I mean, they have some cheap bats. Like this would be a perfect team to 3-man if you're playing the two expensive pitchers and a somewhat more expensive main stack. It's a good team to come to because of the cheap bats. So, all right, let's keep it moving. We got the Phillies and the Nationals. Kind of talked about this one already a little bit. 9 total. Phillies are looking like they're going to be one of the more popular stacks of the slate. I'll be on them. I think they have some cash game plays in this lineup. On the National side, not playing any Nats. I like Wheeler here tonight. But, yeah, I'm going to be on the Phillies. It sounds like you don't have a ton of interest, so talk to me about this one.
Yeah, the only Phillies that I really have an interest in are Bryce Harper and Schwarber. 1-3 there. Obviously, they're both expensive. They're both going to have ownership themselves. But a lot of that ownership is going to be condensed with other guys to go alongside them, right? 5-man stack. So you could get a little different that way by picking those guys out. But the rest of this team, I mean, I just don't have a ton of interest. Brandon Marsh, maybe. I know you're a huge Brandon Marsh guy over there. Your son loves the kid. 2,800 in the outfield, batting 7th. I think you could go to him. But overall, the rest of these guys, I'm personally not going to play the Phillies. The Phillies might not make either one of my teams tonight, but I do like that Schwarber Harper if I can afford it. That 2-man mini stack there. Obviously, both guys, they can go long against anyone. Going to be 90 degrees as well, at least at the start of the game. About 80 plus degrees all the way through the game. Some slight winds, nothing too crazy, but it is kind of just blowing across the field, so no big boost there. On the National side, I'll always bring up CJ Abrams. The dude can hit bombs. He can steal bases. So I'll give that. I mean, 2,800 at the shortstop position, not the worst. Keibert Ruiz has some pretty good numbers against right-handed pitching at home too. But overall, I'm off the Nationals. I do like Zach Wheeler here, and I'm going to fade the Phillies here tonight.
All right, let's keep it moving. We have the Blue Jays and the Mets. Bassett versus Verlander, 8.5 total in this one. Yeah, I mean, I've been low on the Blue Jays basically all season. I mean, their offense just has not been clicking. I'm not going to pick on Verlander here. And then in terms of the Mets offense, I'm not going to be on them either versus Bassett. This game is a fade for me offensively, which, again, talk about a lot, but you do have to just make some full-on stands on these bigger slates, and this game will be one that doesn't exist to me. Any thoughts here?
Yeah, I'm kind of in lockstep with you. I know the Blue Jays hit a couple bombs yesterday and then just went dead, but it was against the Brewers right at home. Now the game's in New York here. I'm probably going to fade this whole game. Obviously, you can always play a guy like Vlad Guerrero, Pete Alonso. Brett Beatty is still pretty cheap. He's got some power there at third base, 3,200. Third base isn't the greatest position, especially in that kind of mid-tier tonight as I was looking through it. So I do think Brett Beatty there, $3,200. He's $100 more than Royce Lewis, who's going to get a lot of ownership, I'm sure, just for his price tag, his game logs, everything. So might be a solid little pivot there. But overall, yeah, I'm not stacking either one of these teams.
All right, we have the Tampa Bay Rays, Boston Red Sox total, and this one is 9.5. This is really the only game on the slate with weather concerns. It does look like it has improved a little bit, but they might get some precipitation at some point. I don't think it's like a cancellation risk or anything like that. I do think the weather situation does lower the ownership on these two teams offensively. And I think it's a pretty good spot for Tampa. And if you are a member at SHIPIT Nation, you will see that Tampa ranks pretty well in our stack rankings. They are up there. They're competing with the Phillies in this top range of all 26 teams on this slate. I think it's a pretty good leverage spot. I don't think a lot of people are going to come here. The price tags are up on these guys too. Like Diaz 4.8, Franco 5.4. I mean, their main pieces here are all 4.5K essentially and above. I will be looking to get some exposure to Tampa tonight, and honestly, maybe a little bit on the Boston side. Probably more 3-man stacks for me though on Boston. You know, Yoshida for sure, Devers for sure, and then maybe one other guy. So like the Rays in a leverage full stack situation, and then Boston probably some 3-man stacks here. What's your take, Rays and the Red Sox?
Yeah, as far as the weather, I'm seeing rain about 7 p.m. right around first pitch, but that would be more just affecting the pitchers for me. And I'm not going to either one of these pitchers. I like the offense in this park. I like the offense in this game, specifically the Rays side. They probably come in pretty under-owned here. Wander Franco's the cheat code. The dude can hit bombs. He steals every time he's on, pretty much. I really love the 5-6 stack with Josh Lowe and Jose Siri. I personally think Jose Siri launches one here tonight. I won't give him out as my dawn call, but I do like him. I have him. He may or may not be in my core over here on SHIPIT Nation. I do think he goes long, 3,100 there. I love that he's hitting in the 6 hole. Josh Lowe, I love him there. Both of their expected ISOs are over 400 against right-handed pitching. And I'm not afraid of Whitlock. He's allowing an 11% barrel rate. Expected ERAs, 4.6. Pretty low strikeout rate as well. So I do think these Rays and that 5, 6, 7 stack there with Josh Lowe, Jose Siri, and Luke Raley, I think is an incredible mini stack. And it's pretty cheap. I mean, 3,100, 3,500, 4,700 for Josh Lowe. And you can even move it up the board if you want a 5-man. These guys, the Rays are definitely a top 3 5-man stack on the slate for me personally. And I would much rather just pivot to these Rays over these Phillies at pretty similar price points, to be honest with you, at a fraction of the ownership. Because I do think that they hit a couple bombs here, especially in Fenway. That's all they do is hit bombs. You know it as good as anyone does hoop. Everyone at the beginning of the year said these guys are going 162-0, right? And these guys were 40-50% owned every slate, and now nobody wants to play them. So I do like these Rays. On the flip side, these Red Sox, it's kind of the standard targets for me. I've played these Red Sox a lot lately. It's treated us pretty well. Going right back to the well with Devers, the dude is just locked in at the plate right now. The other night when we nearly shipped everything over here, he ended with 9 points, but he hit one off the wall. He got robbed of another one that would have hit the wall for a double. And then in the bottom of the ninth, he hit one dead center that would have tied the game. That was caught at the wall. So he's locked in at the plate. I like him. Yoshida, obviously, the dude's a freak. And it definitely, that park there in Fenway down the line as lefties is very short. So Yoshida's definitely figured that out. He wrapped one around the pole the other night. Jaron Duran is cheap there, 3,900. You can go to him. Even that Emmanuel Valdez, I'll keep bringing it up. Second base is not a great position. I know he's batting ninth, but he's been good. He hit a bomb for us the other night when he was in the core. He's 3K at the second base position in Fenway. So I do think both sides of this game make a lot of sense, but I do prefer the Rays.
Yeah, and then, Sean B., weather is a big concern in Boston. Yeah, we talked about it's the only game really on the slate that has any significant weather concerns. I personally think they get this game in. I don't think it's like a postponement risk. The only thing that's going to happen here is ownership's going to come down because everyone kind of has that same mindset that, hey, there's weather here. I can just avoid the only weather situation and move on. But we have a 9.5 total here, and one offense that I really like in Tampa, and then Boston has some pieces that I'm very interested in. So it's a risk-reward type play. There's no doubt about it. But I think the risk is, much lower than people are thinking. All right, we have, 498 people have subscribed. We need 500. So only 2 more people. Hit that subscribe button. Helps us to continue to bring these shows for free on a daily basis. So subscribe. And then also like this video. Let's get this momentum going on this channel. The bigger this channel gets, the more free content that we'll put out there. So we appreciate it over here at SHIPIT Nation. Just do us that favor, hit the like and subscribe. Group of games here that I don't have much interest in. We have Seattle and Texas, 8 total. I like Castillo. John Gray's not the worst pitcher in the world. This game's a fade for me. Anything for you in this one?
Just Adolis Garcia stands out pretty good. And then my guy, Cal Raleigh there. I always have a soft spot for Cal Raleigh, switch hitter. You can always go to him, 4,600 there at the catcher position, hitting sixth. I think he makes some sense. And then, Adolis Garcia. But overall, I'm not stacking either one of these teams. I like Castillo. I don't think John Gray's the worst pitcher in the world to play tonight at 7,600. I would just rather go down to those two guys that I mentioned at cheaper. If I'm going down, I'd just rather go all the way down. But, I mean, this lineup does have K upside in these Mariners. I mean, outside of Crawford and France at the top, every one of them's over 25% strikeout rate, number 3 through 9. So John Gray could get a couple Ks here for sure. But it's a price play for me. I'd just rather go all the way down. So that's why I didn't bring up John Gray. I know people were talking about him in the chat. That's kind of reasoning for that. And when I look at the starting pitcher rankings on SHIPITNation.com, he's ranked 21st on the slate. So typically I don't like dabbling with those guys too much, especially when we got guys cheaper that are ranked higher on our stuff. I trust the tools over here, and it's treated me well and it's treated our members well. So I'm going to keep riding that, but overall, not going to either side of this game.
Yeah. Well, Nate, the people responded. You asked, they got the job done. Over 500 subscribers, got us up to 506. So what do you have to say?
We appreciate that, and let's keep pushing. Once we get to 1,000, we're going to run a couple giveaways here for the YouTube chat. Obviously, we like giving stuff back, giving back to the people, and it's not going to be no premium Discord giveaway. It'll be a free giveaway, whether we do a ticket, whether we do something. I might have to put a little bug in Hoop and Tambo's ear to make something happen, but we'll definitely do something here for the people, and I might even throw a little extra something in for the people.
Yep, definitely appreciate that. Let's keep the momentum going on this channel. Absolutely love to see it. Next game is another one that I'll be off. Angels, Astros, Ohtani, and Valdez. Lowest total on the slate at 7.5. Game's a fade for me. You didn't love Valdez when we talked about the pitchers. Any interest in these Angels bets?
I mean, Chad Wallach is graded out pretty good. It's only a six at bat sample, but against left-handed pitching on the road, he's got an expected ISO over 680. So it's 3K at the catcher position, very low owned. He'll be almost unowned, probably under 1%. You could always play a guy like that has power. Mike Trout, obviously, and you can't play Ohtani as a batter. So typically when that happens, I'm off the Angels. It's just more of not a bet against Valdez struggling or not kind of producing here. It's just more of a bet. I just think the Angels, I just don't think he's going to have the upside that's needed on the slate compared to some of these other pitchers that I just like more. So that's kind of where I'm at. Brought that in with the ownership, and I'm just okay going elsewhere. So that was kind of the reasoning for the Valdez fade personally for me. But yeah, not going to either side of this game. I like both pitchers in this one.
Next one, we have the Guardians and the Twins, 8 total, so pretty low total in this game. For me, offensively, not a ton to like. Your low total for the Guardians sitting their team totals under 4. The Twins team total right around 4. No Buxton in the lineup makes it very difficult to be super interested in the Twins tonight. I will say Royce Lewis batting second. Third base, shortstop eligible, 3.1K. I'm interested. Solano batting fourth, first and third base eligible, 2K flat. So moderate interest here in the Twins side, maybe a 3-man cheapie. Again, that scenario that I talked about earlier. If you're playing 2 expensive pitchers, if you're playing an expensive main stack and you just need a dirt cheap stack, I don't hate this. You can get the top of the lineup guys in Lewis, Solano. You got, Kepler right there at 3.5K. You have a cheap catcher if you want, and Jeffers at 2.5K. No interest in 5-man stacking the Twins, but I do have interest in the Twins cheap 3-man stack. But that's really it for me in this game. Any thoughts here?
Yeah, off the Guardians here, I just don't feel like attacking Bailey Ober. He's a pretty solid pitcher. I know he blew up when we made him the core play and he was chalk on the slate, but that's all slate dependent, and obviously every slate's different for me. I'm not results oriented and never will be. So I do still trust in his stuff and his caliber of pitcher. So off the Guardians here, but I do like some of these Twins bats. Obviously Royce Lewis, no surprise there. The dude's a stud, batting second, dual position eligibility, shortstop, third base. I love him. He is going to expect him to get some ownership, but I just don't really care, to be honest with you. Joey Gallo, I feel like I bring up Joey Gallo's name every time. Obviously, he's a boom bust guy. You're not playing Joey Gallo to go out there and go 3 for 4 with 3 singles or a double and singles. He's a double, home run, or kind of nothing, or a strikeout. So I do like him. 4K flat there in the outfield. I wish he was a little bit higher in the lineup, but that'll keep his ownership down. Max Kepler has good numbers here against right-handed pitching at home. Jorge Polanco's back, batting leadoff tonight at the second base position. Second base is kind of weak always, so I don't hate that. But I do like these Twins as a mini stack. Even Ryan Jeffers there, 2,500, batting 6 at the catcher position. I think you can pick some of these guys out. So I do have the Twins on my mini stack list tonight. I'm not going to 5-man them, but I mean, they do have a 4.5 implied run total here against the Valley. So Vegas does expect them to score some runs.
Yeah, I mean, cheap 3-man stack, I think definitely works on the slate where we have expensive bats, expensive pitchers. Definitely has me interested. Next game is a priority game for me and one that I want to be all over in tournaments, cash games. It's the Rockies, the Royals, 9.5 total, 5 team total for the Royals, about 4.5 for the Rockies. 2 shitty pitchers, Chase Anderson, Jordan Lyles. Chase Anderson has been decent lately. I think it all comes to an end here tonight. This stadium has been giving up some runs this season. 80 degrees, pretty high temperatures. I want a lot of this game and 2 lineups where I think I can play most of the guys. I mean, you look at the Rockies lineup, I can go down. I think I can make the case for everyone all the way at the bottom to Tovar. Boomer and myself talked about this Nolan Jones guy the other day. He's batting 7th, only 2.9K. So in on the Rockies and really in on the Royals. These price tags are really cheap on some of these guys. Prado, 3K. Our guy Vinny Pasquantino, 3.6K. MJ Melendez, 3.3K. Witt's in there at 5.5. Sal Perez is 5.2. But all the guys at the bottom, super duper cheap. Olivares, 2.9K. Massey, 2.3. Nicky Lopez, 2.2. Can do a lot of things with this offense. So this is a game I'll be all over. I'm good going top to bottom with both these offenses. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, this is my favorite game on the slate. I posted a little meme in the chat. Kauffman Stadium, then it's Fenway Park, then it's Coors Field for me in terms of stadiums. But the joke is kind of held up. Kauffman Stadium seems to be the new. I feel like this game isn't Coors, even though the Rockies are on the road here tonight. Kauffman Stadium's been great. The weather is going to be good. I mean, 80 degrees, pretty much the whole game here. Slight wind blowing out straight out to left center. Not any crazy wind, but I mean, 6-7 miles an hour. Hey, a little boost is a little boost, right? So I do love this game. Both sides. Rockies are going to be significantly lower owned than the Royals side, and you have guaranteed 9th inning at bats. The only issue is it's Boomer's daddy. I think Boomer's daddy could lace the cleats up and bat high in this order because these Rockies are terrible. But I mean, they could get it done. Nolan Jones is a stud. I do like that call there. He's cheap. He has power. 482 expected ISO against right-handed pitching. So far, I get it. It's a small sample size, but the dude has power. And 2,900. I mean, he hits a bomb. 14 points looks pretty good at that price tag. Mahone is on a tear right now. 4,600. I think he makes a lot of sense. Overall, it's just kind of stack these Rockies up. It's just a bet on Jordan Lyles being Jordan Lyles. And in terms of picking individual bats, I don't have a ton of interest outside of Mahone and Nolan Jones, but it's just a bet on Jordan Lyles. I mean, we know the case with Jordan Lyles, low strikeout pitcher, allows a lot of hard contact. I'm going to pitch probably 5 or 6 innings here, and especially if the Rockies are teeing off, I'm not scared of the Royals bullpen behind him either. So Rockies make some sense, but my favorite stack on the entire slate is the Royals. They're going to be owned, but I just don't care. I'm not playing the Phillies, so I'm just going to push the chips in on the Royals. I can play everyone 1 through 9 in this lineup. The only two guys I don't have a ton of interest in is Nicky Lopez and Drew Waters down there at the bottom. But everyone else I love in this lineup. Expected ISO over 200, K rate of 21%. I mean, these guys just smash at home, especially a guy like Chase Anderson. I get that he's been solid and favorable, but again, he gets rocked, I think, early here, and the Rockies bullpen comes in behind him, who's not very good at all. So love the Royals. 1 through 7 is my preference, but 1 through 9 is firmly in play here, and I think they post a big number tonight.
Yep. Yeah, I love this game. I mean, it's just everything checks out from an offensive standpoint for me. So going to be all over both sides. Really like them here. Next game, we have the Tigers and the White Sox. Total is 9 in this game. Team total of 5 for the White Sox, 4 for the Tigers. The White Sox have a chance, I think, to be like a forgotten team tonight. There's a lot of other offenses that people are going to. For example, the game that we just kind of talked about ahead of time, but their team total's up there sitting at 5. They have a lineup, again, where you can make the case for everyone. Gavin Sheets down there at 2.6K should be unowned. He has a lot of power. Romy Gonzalez coming off that nice little stretch where he's hitting bombs basically every single day. What do you have? Three games in a row where he had a bomb this week. You love that. Jimenez still cheap at 4K, Benintendi 3.8K. So the White Sox kind of fit my strategy where I can play 2 expensive pitchers and still get a solid 5-man stack that's expected to do some damage. So I'm in on the White Sox here. On the Tiger side, not a ton of interest. If Badu's batting second, he's only 2.5K. I could definitely get there, but not a ton of interest in the Tigers for me. What do you got here in this one?
Yeah, Tigers full fade for me. I do like I brought up Clevenger. I think he's going to go forgotten, and I think he can post a solid score here. This is just I'm a matchups guy in baseball, especially with pitchers and strikeouts. And this projected lineup for the Tigers has a K rate of almost 29%. So expected ISO of 116. I mean, I think your little league team Hoop could beat these guys. So I'm not going to any of these Tigers bats. For the White Sox, for me, I agree with you. I think they're going to go overlooked. They have a 5 implied run total, and you're playing the Tiger. You're going to face Reese Olson to start, whoever that is. I don't even know who that is, and then you get the Tigers bullpen behind him. So I do. I mean, Romy Gonzalez 2,400 down there. The dude just hits bombs. Second base 2,400. Sign me up. I don't care that he's batting 9th. He's got a 4.13 expected ISO against right-handed pitching so far this year at home, and it's good hitting conditions. I mean, it's going to be 75 degrees the entire game, slight wind blowing out to right center. And I mean, sign me up. I do think these White Sox, I think you can even 5-man them. They're not my favorite 5-man just because I love the Royals so much. And I might just push the chips in on the Royals and stack them 2 different ways just because I feel confident in that game. If it doesn't go that way, well, guess what? We have Saturday baseball. We have Sunday baseball. We have 130-something slates left, right, for the rest of the year. So you just come back tomorrow and do it all over again. But these White Sox, I mean, Andrew Vaughn, I'm always an Andrew Vaughn guy down there at first base, 3,700. Luis Robert, Eloy Jimenez is back in this lineup, which just makes this lineup so much better, right? When you got they're starting to get back to full strength, basically our full strength now. Your man crush down there, Gavin Sheets, who 2,600. Gavin Sheets, you could do like a little Gavin Sheets, Romy Gonzalez, and then go up to the top and Luis Robert, Eloy Jimenez, Tim Anderson, something like that, right? Tim Anderson can always steal bags. So overall, White Sox, I think go forgotten, and I think they can make some noise here.
Yeah, just quick question. Any advice on FanDuel, how to understand if you're too chalky? I've been playing a lot over on FanDuel. It's slate to slate, obviously. I mean, it depends, like on a 4-game slate versus a 13-game slate tonight. Not a ton to worry about. The Phillies are going to be very popular, I'll say, on FanDuel tonight because they're extremely cheap. Like, their bats are very, very cheap. They're a little more expensive on FanDuel, still going to be popular, or a little more expensive on DK. They're going to be popular on DK, but on FanDuel, they're going to be very, very popular. But again, if you ever think your lineup's too chalky, the easiest way to adjust your team without adjusting the teams that you're stacking, go to the bottom of the order. I always talk about that. On FanDuel specifically, play a catcher. A lot of people won't play catchers because you're not required to play a catcher. One way you can immediately get different on a 13-game slate, you don't have much to worry about. But on some of those smaller slates, just a couple things you can do to be, more unique and not as chalky if that's what you're looking to do. We have 4 games left. The subscription numbers, we're up to 512. I'd love to see a little push to get up to like 525. That would make me feel great going into the weekend. See if we can get 13 more. Definitely would appreciate that. And then the likes, we're sitting at 96. Let's get to that 100 number. It'd be phenomenal here on this Friday show. So hit the like and subscribe. Helps us out a ton. 4 games to go, like I said. We have the Braves. We have the D-backs, Charlie Morton versus Merrill Kelly. 9 total here. Both teams sitting around a 4.5 team total. Tough game for me to get to. Like Charlie Morton, I think, is a pretty solid pitcher here. I don't have a ton of interest on the Diamondback side, and they're pretty expensive. I mean, Marte, 5K, Corbin Carroll, 5.4. They finally bumped up Christian Walker to 4.7, Gurriel 4.5. Like, you're not getting any cheap bats here. So off that side, and then on the Braves side, I love playing the Braves whenever I can, but again, I just don't think I can get there tonight the way I'm building teams where I'm going to play 2 expensive pitchers. I just can't get to this team. So, I'm not going to have much on the Braves or D-back side. Any interest here for you?
Yeah, I mean, the only case I can make is it's going to be 90-plus degrees the entire duration of this game. Obviously, 2 pretty solid pitchers on both sides here, but I'll say it every time. When nobody's playing these Braves, especially nobody's going to play them tonight at these price tags. They're priced like they're facing the worst team in baseball, which they just did, and obviously laid an egg. But no better time than the Braves to say, screw you, baseball. We're still the best team in the league, and these D-backs are getting a ton of love for being whatever they are, 15 games or something over 500. They're starting to get the spotlight shined on them. I won't be surprised if the Braves come in here and kind of let the rest of the league know, hey, we just took Oakland off. We'll give Oakland a little shine of fame here for beating us, and we'll come in here and show you we can still hit the ball. So don't sleep on these Braves here tonight. Obviously, Acuna, Matt Olson, Sean Murphy, Ozuna are my 4 favorite. All of their expected ISOs are over 300 against right-handed pitching. And, I mean, Merrill Kelly can get hit around a little bit. He's no, super ace by any means. And, I mean, this lineup looks pretty good that's projected for the Braves. So nobody's going to go to them, probably for a good reason. Merrill Kelly is pretty solid pitcher, but it's the Braves. The Braves can score on anyone. Obviously, they just let everyone down against Oakland and the worst bullpen in the league. But you know how it is, Hoop, when you're a team like the Braves or you see it in all professional sports, right? Teams look at the Bucks in the playoffs, right? They kind of just overlooked the Heat and just were already focusing on their second round matchup. And what happened? They got smoked by the Heat.
Yeah.
So it just happens all the time, right? People play down to competition. The Braves acted like they didn't belong on the same field as the Athletics, and the Athletics competed. Obviously, the target's on their back. The Athletics have nothing to lose, right? They're supposed to lose the game. Here, I think is a different story. I think the Braves come into Arizona and look to rebound in a big way against that series. Obviously, a very embarrassing series for the Braves, and nobody's going to play them. So I always have interest in the Braves here when nobody's going to play them. And would it shock you, Hoop, if the Braves come out here and put up 8 or 9 runs against Merrill and these D-backs and nobody expects it? It wouldn't shock me. I mean, they got the hitters to do it. So don't sleep on them. They are expensive, but there's a lot of cheap guys, and you're going to have a completely different roster. So it's a good little GPP play for me. On the D-back side, I'm not going to attack Charlie Morton here. The D-backs just don't strike out, so you're just hoping for some old school baseball, right? Move the runners around. Hopefully they steal a couple of bases, and I just don't think that's enough on this slate in terms of upside. So I'm off the D-backs, but I can't look past these Braves.
Yep. All right, cool. 3 more games. We have the Cubs and the Padres. Tyon versus Waka. Total in this one is 8.5. I love the Padres here in the spot. I think Tyon sucks. He hasn't been pitching well. This is a later game. I think the ownership is low on the Padres side. I want to be all over the Padres. They have a lineup that can just absolutely smash any sort of pitcher, and I like this matchup for them. So I'm in on the Padres in a big way. Lineup not out yet, but I'm assuming when it does come out, I'm going to have interest in all guys here, top to bottom. They got Gary Sanchez in the lineup. He had a bomb yesterday, had a big game. I'm going to be in on the Padres in a big way. No interest really on the Cubs side for me. Thoughts here on this one?
Yeah, the only Cubs interest I have is Christopher Morel. We know the story with this. The dude just hits bombs. He is 5,400 now. DraftKings finally figured it out when he hit 8 or 9 bombs in a row. The dude went on an incredible streak. So I don't love his price tag. Matt Mervis, 2,200, I think maybe makes some sense against Waka. Waka's no ace by any means. On the flip side, I don't have as much interest as you do in the Padres. I just haven't been playing the Padres. It's worked out well for me on a 13-game slate here where I like teams that I already talked on, the Braves, the Royals, the Twins a little bit, the Cardinals, stuff like that in much better hitting conditions. I mean, these late-night games here in California, the weather is not like it is in the Midwest across the country, right? I like to target these California teams early in the season, right? When the Midwest and everywhere else, East Coast and stuff is 40 degrees versus 100, right? Like it's massive heat waves up here. Hoop and I were talking about it before the show. Obviously, Hoop's in Michigan. I'm in Wisconsin here. You walk outside and you get blasted in the face by a heat wave, instantly start sweating. The ball tends to fly when the conditions are like that. I'm seeing about 60 degrees out here on the West Coast. Could they get it done? Yeah, they could. But 13-game slate, I think I'm just going to go elsewhere. I haven't been a Padres guy, so I'm probably not going to hop on here. But I do think they make some sense. Juan Soto, guys like that, obviously. I mean, they have a lineup where they can do damage against anyone. Gary Sanchez, 3,300, sure. But overall, not thrilled to play these Padres.
All right. I wish you were joining me with the Padres love, but it's all right. Well, we'll see where we can find some common ground. 2 more games left. We have the Yankees, we have the Dodgers, 8 total in this game. Not a ton offense. But I will say, I mean, I think, Aaron Judge as a one-off is pretty damn interesting. No one's really going to play him against Kershaw. He's super, super expensive. If you can make it work, I don't hate it. But, this game will be mostly a fade for me outside of Mr. Aaron Judge. Any interest for you in this one?
Yeah, the only thing I could say about here is Kershaw is probably going to be the second chalkiest pitcher on the slate. So some of these Yankees guaranteed 9th inning at bats. Gleyber Torres has very good numbers against left-handed pitching, but he is 5,200, so he's expensive. You're paying for these guys. Overall, I'm not going to stack this team up, but it's kind of another double leverage situation. We bring it up a lot, but overall, not any interest really on these Yankee sides. On the flip side, the Dodgers, you can always play the Dodgers any slate. Again, I don't have a ton of interest in them. I know Keith was talking about it in the chat. But, Keith, one thing you'll find out, if Hoop's not on the Dodgers, it's probably not the best night to stack the Dodgers. Yeah. He's usually got a pretty good read on that team, and they've won him well over 6 figures multiple times. So if he's not on them, I'm probably not going there again. I like to target these hotter, better hitting condition games, to be honest. I mean, 60 degrees out here on the West Coast. I'd much rather play games that are going to be 85 plus the entire duration of the game and just bet on much better matchups. I mean, you got Severino and Kershaw, two favorable, 2 solid pitchers. I just don't feel the need on a 13-game slate to attack either one of them.
Yep. One more game. Right? Let's see how we're doing here with the numbers. I wanted 525 for subscribers, and we're at 519, so 6 to go. That'd be amazing if we can get those last 6 here heading out the gate. And then doing a great job on the likes. 112 likes, got 162 watching. Let's get that to 125. So 525 on the subscriptions, 125 on the likes, and then we're going to ship it tonight. Very simple. And the last game isn't going to take long, at least for me. Orioles and the Giants, not going to the stadium for offense on the slate. We have so many fabulous hitting ballparks, hitting weather. Like you said, this one's sitting at 60. I have zero interest here in anything whatsoever. Any interest for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be below 60 degrees, Hoop, and that's still shorts and a tank top weather for us here in the Midwest. But out on the West Coast, I don't think that's the case. I mean, they might be showing up in snowsuits to the game here. 59 degrees, 58 degrees, probably drop down in the mid-50s by the end of the game here. And I don't have a ton of interest. I obviously love Logan Webb here against the Orioles, especially with the hitting conditions. So I'm not going to any of these Orioles. On the flip side, Lamonte Wade, I'll always bring him up. 3,100 there at the top of the lineup. Probably will bat leadoff again. The dude can just hit bombs. So I have interest in him. The price tag, the power, everything, ownership kind of all aligns. He ranks pretty highly on our hitter rankings over here as well. But overall, not stacking either one of these guys. I love Logan Webb on the flip side. And I think you get your offense early on this slate, and you just kind of got a pitcher or two sitting in your chamber to bring you all the way home.
Is Lamont Wade like always 3.1K? Like it seems like every single slate he is 3.1K. Do they ever change his price?
No, DraftKings never changes his price, and I'll keep playing him because the dude keeps producing, and he can hit a bomb any slate he's on. And 3.1K is a very nice value price tag on DraftKings salary structure.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is all 13 games. That is all the pitchers. We covered everything. And then obviously our content is going up or is already up. Our projections will update as the lineups come in. Our hitter rankings, pitcher rankings, all that will get updated as well. Already there, but the updates go all the way through the last lineup being posted. So make sure you get on over to SHIPIT Nation and check everything out. Last segment here, we're going to pick our home run call. And then our random pitcher to get the job done for – not random pitcher, but, off the radar pitcher, not popular pitcher to get the job done for us tonight. So give me the home run call and then the pitcher call.
Yeah, I will. I'll give the people two. They gave us a lot of – you asked me what I was going to do for the people here for getting the subscribers. Again, 3 days on this channel and we're over 500-something subscribers is absolutely crazy. I would like to see 5K plus by the end of the year. Obviously, we're going to have all the NFL content, NHL, NBA, everything. We're going to have you covered over here. But I'm going to give you one. I already brought up Jose Siri, but that's not going to be my call. I'm going to go right above him, one spot higher in the lineup. I'm going to go Josh Lowe, 4,700 at the outfield position. I think he takes Garrett Whitlock deep tonight in Fenway Park here. And then I'm going to go to my favorite stack, Coors Field 2.0, Kauffman Stadium. I'm going to go Mr. MJ Melendez, 3,300 there, hitting in the heart of the lineup. I know he's not had the crazy season and crazy numbers that he's had in years past, but 3,300, hitting fifth behind Salvi Perez there. I think MJ Melendez goes long tonight in Kauffman Stadium. And then for my pitcher, hold your nose, reach down and squeeze him below, in between your legs there. I'm going Josiah Gray. Listen, I talked about the reasoning. He's ranked fifth right now on our starting pitcher rankings. It's scary, but I think this lineup that Philly put out is not a good lineup by any means. It's the fourth best lineup to attack with pitchers for K rate, and I'm just going to trust the metrics here. And I think Josiah Gray can post a reasonable score here, especially at the price tag. So maybe I play Josiah Gray in my Braves team, but I do like him, and that's where I'm at.
Good calls there. I'm not on Gray, but I like the Melendez call. Our guy, go collect, I guess is how you pronounce it. Hoop is like the trainer that keeps pushing you after you already met your goals. I do like that analogy. You get that one set, that last set. Oh, that's too easy. I'm right there to tell you can do one more. It's very simple, and that's kind of how it's going to be with the likes and subscription numbers. Let's see if you guys hit the goals, my goals. You guys hit Nade's goal. You didn't hit my goal. 523. We need two more. Come on, you guys can do that. And then 119 on the likes. Just need six more. Very simple. My home run call is going to be. It's a big name guy, but he's going to be low owned. Juan Soto, I think, goes long tonight. I love the Padres. Told you I'm all over them. In terms of my pitching option, I'm going to pick a guy that I wasn't on a ton before coming on the show, but I think it makes a lot of sense. You kind of talked me into him. The weather situation makes me like him even more. It's your guy, Logan Webb. He's right there, priced between a lot of high-owned guys up top. I think he could go a little overlooked at home here, been pitching well, 60 or less than 60 degrees like you said. Logan Webb's going to be my guy that I like here at the pitcher position. So, big slate, obviously 13 games. All our content, like I said, is going up, getting updated here throughout the night. So get on over to shipitnation.com. It's $59 for the month, $599 for the annual package. We think you will absolutely love it. Look forward to having you as a member over at our site. But that is going to do it for us tonight here on the MLB Witching Hour. Good luck to everybody in your contest. We'll be back Sunday morning with another MLB show. Let's go out there tonight and ship it.